Minasan, Ohio, Konnichiwa, Oyasumi. I'm Iris, and today we're doing the movie versus book for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm very, very excited. I did a lot of notes. There was quite a bit of differences. I feel like this is definitely when we start getting dark. And yeah, let's just discuss everything in the comments. I know this is gonna be lengthy, but let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So let's start with the characters. The main ones that's popping in my head is Lupin, Sirius, Peter. I guess you can consider Vernon's sister as a new character. But let's talk about James's friends. It's all very sad. So James trusted all of them. They all trusted each other because when we learned about their friendship and everything they did with Lupin, it was just like, it's sad how everything turned out. And I can't believe how they trusted Peter, because when they talked about Peter, they knew as teenagers that Peter was only around them because they were strong, they were intelligent, they were great wizards, and he was just a leech. So it was like, to trust him with anything is baffling. Like, Dumbledore offered himself, to keep the secret, and you gave it to Peter. Lupin, we learn, that he's a werewolf. He's probably been depressed for years because, hey, bro, he's thinking that Sirius told on James and Lily. They passed. Their son is a orphan now, and with these horrible muggles. And the person who told on them was one of their best friends, Sirius. And Sirius, being caught by Peter, was killed. Now, this is another thing that's confusing me. Everybody knows that Peter is scary. I mean, this is what the fact that you guys know why he was hanging around y'all, that he was just... So y'all legitimately thought Peter confronted Sirius. Like, if we're being really, really real about this, y'all think that this timid, kind of scary boy, I guess they were men at this point, y'all think that he confronted Sirius, who was in leagues with Tom? This is what y'all think. That he was like, oh, Sirius, how could you do this? And just got blown up. Bro. And then y'all believed Muggle's testimony about this. Like, it is really baffling to me. It's really unfortunate that Sirius trusted the wrong person. I mean, if this was me, if Sirius was scared, didn't want to keep the secret, you gave it to Peter instead of Dumbledore. The person who Tom is afraid of, you didn't give it to him. It's so many confused. Is it because it was a horrible, stressful time? Nobody's brain was working. That's what I'm thinking what was going on. Nobody's brain, nobody's common sense, nobody... You know what? Let's get into the plot before I just start rambling about stuff that happens later on. We're starting off with, Harry. Okay, so I was kind of confused in the movie when Harry was just under the cover going through the book, I'm like, okay, I mean, they kind of hinted that Vernon popped in his room, like, is he asleep? What is he doing? But it was just like, he does that all the, like, this is Vernon. We know that he is always acting like this. But they explained in the book that Harry had a lot of homework for the summer, and Vernon took all of his school supplies, all of his textbooks, and put them under the cupboard. So Harry at night would, you know, sneak his stuff and then study at night. It was Harry, the fact that he is practicing magic knowing that they're not supposed to be doing magic outside of Hogwarts is kind of like, bro got some guts on him. Like, I don't really know what's going on with that. But hey, do your thing, Harry, do your thing. This time, instead of sending letters, Ron tried to call Harry, screaming in the phone. Is this thing working? Brendan's like, what the heck who is this? So that messed up that whole thing. Ron, why didn't you ask Hermione? She grew up with this stuff. Why didn't you ask her how to do your thing? Do your thing. He got his first birthday card. He got, I think this is when he's getting all these gifts from his friends, and he learns that the Weasleys won this little, like, I don't know what the heck it was. Like, I think his dad won something at work and they got a whole bunch of money, and they were like, oh, let's go on family vacay. So they went to Egypt to visit one of their sons, and they were talking about how cool, like, the ancient wizards were and how they put all these spells and kind of on the pyramids. And I feel like that was a nice little touch, because you know how people think it's cursed, so they're like, oh, muggles think it's cursed, but it's really spells that they put on this. I'm like, oh, that's a cool little detail. And we learned that Hermione is in France, and she sent Harry this cool little, like, broom maintenance kit. So Harry's like gassed about that. He's like, oh, I got to fix up my broom. Like, you know how he is about Quidditch. So this was like the perfect gift for him. And Hagrid gave him the Monster Book of Monsters, the one that they use on that attacks Harry. Yeah, I mean, I guess that was a cute little, like, oh, I have a little secret and you guys might need this later on type thing. Hey, and Harry doesn't have to pay for one of his textbooks. Hey, I'm cool with that. Another thing is that when Harry first learns about Sirius, it was on Muggle News. They basically painted him as this criminal, like, don't approach type thing, but he's dangerous, call us if you see him. We had that whole little thing about going to Hogsmeade, getting the thing signed, and he tells Harry, like, Harry's negotiating, like, okay, if I pretend to go to this weird school that you're talking about for bad kids, you gonna sign this, right? Bet. So the horrible thing is, Marge was there for a week. Harry's like, I could do this. You know, I don't like her, but I could do this. Harry tried with all his might. Aunt Marge was out there telling them they should use extreme force with Harry. I don't know if this kind of stuff, do they put this stuff in young adult novels? I mean, now. I know this was a while back, but I'm just like, we know that this is wrong. This is a good conversation to have where it's like, abuse, because like, what, you want them to abuse him for what exactly? Like, she gets mad at everything because he looks at her a certain way, his tone of voice, like, she gives me a headache for real. The third day she spoke about something being wrong with the B word. Then something's wrong with the pup. Basically that same line she said in the movie. And Harry didn't freak out. He just left. He went upstairs. He was like, you know what? I can't deal with this. Gone. He tried his best. On the last day, she was drinking, talking about his mother, again, being a bad egg. Then she talked about them dying in a car crash, and it was probably because they were drunk. It's like, bro, you're out here drunk talking about they probably died because they was drunk. You don't even know them. It's like she was saying stuff to piss Harry off on purpose so she can say like, I'm right about him once he starts yelling. And it's like, she's also talking about his aunt's sister. Like, this is your sister. I know you don't like her, but it's like, so what does that say about if she's the bad egg? Like, oh no, you're not like that, but I feel like you're also insulting her. But the same thing happened, him leaving, but I think when he did the little spell on her, I don't think she went outside. I don't think she floated outside. I think that was the only difference. So when he left, he was freaking out because he couldn't contact anybody because he sent Hedwig away. When he made that whole little deal, because they don't like Hedwig. So Hedwig's been gone this whole week, so he can't contact anybody like, somebody come get me. He couldn't do none of that. When Harry stuck his wand out is when he actually called for the night bus. Because I was like, where did that thing, because they made it just seem like, oh, when a wizard is in trouble, like they just come. But I guess it was kind of like having his wand out, and then the emotion behind, like, I need help getting somewhere, is what caught the bus there. So, you know, whole thing on the bus, and then we learned some more about Sirius, the fact that he killed 13 people. Basically, they think that he used the killing curse and like just blew up the whole street, and those people died and Peter died. He basically, it is very sad. Like, this whole thing that they're explaining is very sad, because once you know the story, you're like, bro, these people are dead. Peter got away, and he's just standing in the street laughing. Like, he's freaking, he's already had like a mental break, because he gave the secret to Peter. Peter told on them, and it was like, they know there's been a leak this whole time. They trusted Peter with the thing, and he's like, I can't believe, like, at this point, just like the movie, it's my fault that they're gone. So he's freaking just giggling in the street, like one of those manic laughs, probably, like, I can't believe this happened, because he could have got away. He was standing in the street for a long time until like the ministry came. The muggles are all like, oh yeah, he did it, he blew up y'all don't know what's going on. And then freaking Sirius isn't saying anything, so they're just assuming, yeah, he is crazy. Like, let's just lock him up. Poor Sirius. So Harry is learning about Azkaban, and he's just like, bruh, what if I get arrested? I used a spell against a muggle. Am I going to jail? Hey, Harry don't know nothing about their, like, what he can really go to prison for. So he's like, this ain't a good look for me. I feel him. I would have been scared too, to be honest. So we also learned that Hagrid has spent 2 months in Azkaban. He was basically getting tortured by the Dementors for 2 months. That makes it even crazier that Dumbledore sent Ron's old, like, needs to be retired owl to go send, where I would have been hot. Like, I would have been mad. Like, so y'all knew I was innocent. And none of y'all came and got... These wizards can just, like, appear in places. So even if you can't just appear at the prison, you can appear somewhere close to it and tell them, yo, we found out that Hagrid did not do this. No, you send this old owl to come and tell. Harry found it strange that the Minister of Magic came to talk about the incident, and that he wasn't in trouble. So it is, because, like, why would Fudge be the one to come tell him that, you know, they've taken care of everything? And I think they, like, erased her memories. And, you know, you're not in trouble, Harry. Why are you here telling me that? He also, I guess, talked to the Dursleys. The Dursleys said that he can come back next summer, but it's still a couple weeks before school starts, so he's gonna stay at where was he at? Like a tavern or something. Whatever he was at, they was just like, you can stay here for the next 2 weeks. So he was there for a minute. Cornelius Fudge basically implied that it was best if Harry didn't go into town anyway. Like, just stay here. I think he could go to Diagon Alley. That's it. Don't go to no muggle places. Like, stay here where me and other wizards can look out for you. Harry was having a good old time. He was tempted by so much stuff. But hey, Harry is a very responsible young man. Like, he knows he has all this money. He sees all these cool things, and he's like, this need to last me. There's nobody out here who can give me money. My parents left this for me, so I'm gonna be responsible. I'm gonna get the things that I need. Sometimes here and there he would splurge on stuff, but nothing too expensive or where it would really, like, hit the bank for him. His biggest temptation, I would say, is the firebolt. We literally see Harry go here every day to stare at this firebolt. Harry is very dedicated. He's like the fastest broom. Yo, I don't even think they had the price on it. You know, when they don't put the price on there, just don't even ask. That's what it is. Like, if you can't just spend money, don't come and ask us about it. So Harry was like, dang, it's over for me. So Harry went to get his textbooks, and he saw the Book of Death Omens. It had a huge dog on it, basically pretty much the same dog that he saw in that alley when he was waiting when the night bus came. He's like, that looks like the same thing. That's not good. That's not good for me. When they meet up with Ron, he says he doesn't know why he didn't get in trouble, and if it was him, they'd have to dig him up first because his mom would kill him. I believe you, Ron, for real. Miss Weasley, do not be playing. Dang, he said they would have to dig him up first. So we learned that Hermione is taking Muggle studies because she wants to know more about Muggles from Wizards' point of view. That's very interesting because I could see why she would want to, because Hermione wants to know everything, and especially just like what do they think about Muggles? Very interesting. We also learned that Scabbers hasn't been feeling good since Egypt. He's been stressed. He's losing weight. He's losing hair. He's not doing good. So basically, we go to this like kind of like a pet shop for wizards, and they try to figure out like how to help Scabbers out. Like, is there some kind of potion, something to help him? This is where Hermione buys what's the cat's name? Did I write it down? Dang, what's the cat's name? I can't remember. But this is off top. This cat is like attacking Ron, attacking Scabbers before they even buy it. Ron is freaking out like, why would you buy that thing that just attacked me? I don't know, but she loves him. That, I think it was the same night, something close to it, Harry overhears the Weasleys arguing about whether they should tell Harry about Sirius or not. His mom, Miss Weasley, doesn't think that they should tell him, like, you know, don't stress him out, let him go about his day. And Mr. Weasley's like, no, this is serious though, like, make him aware of what's going on so he won't go and do dumb stuff. They already do dumb stuff, you know how they are. Just if he knows, maybe he will be, you know, he'll be safe. He won't be going out doing nonsense. So Harry is kind of upset about this, because he's thinking, why do everybody, like, why do they think I'm useless? Why do they think that I can't protect myself? I fought Tom like 3 times already. Why do they think that this other person that probably is not as strong as Tom is going to take me out? So I think it's kind of like they don't trust my skills. They don't trust that I have any type of sense. I feel like that's important. I feel like I was on Arthur's side, to be honest. Why wouldn't, if someone is in danger, especially if they can comprehend danger and be like, if I see this person, I should go the other way, you should tell them. So Arthur ends up telling Harry the next day, like, you know what, there's this person, yada yada. Harry stops him like, yeah, I actually overheard you guys talking the other night. I was like, oh, he told him he overheard it. But yeah, Harry told him the truth, like, yeah, I heard y'all. And he made Harry promise not to go after this man, no matter what, like, no matter what you hear about him, do not approach. Harry's like, alright, I guess. So Ron's we get to the Hogwarts Express. They get in the little compartment, and Ron is like, Lupin, this dude look like he's one hex away from just being done. Like, should we call, like, is he breathing? Ron thinks that Harry should sneak into Hogsmeade, and Hermione's like, that's not, like, are you paying attention? That's not safe. He should not go anywhere. Especially if nobody knows that he's there. So if he disappears, who's gonna, like, how will we know? Draco is about his usual insults, and Ron is like, I'm not standing for it this year. Like, I'm gonna just slap this dude up for real. You know, the whole thing with the lights going out in the train. Neville and Ginny come in there like, what's going on? Like, they're freaking out. Lupin is awake. Hermione's like, I'm gonna go talk to somebody that's operating the train. Like, I'll be back. I'm going. And basically one of the Dementors come in there, and Lupin tried to, because Lupin was already like walking towards the door, like trying to get out. He saw it with his flames, and Harry is explaining what this thing looks like. He's like, it looks like a dead body that was like waterlogged, like it was just in a body of water. It looks scabby, and its eyes look, did he say its eyes? Did he say anything about its eyes yet? I don't think it could see their eyes. Wait, let me check. So he said it looks like a dead body so tall it was hitting the ceiling. It was gray, slimy, with scabs all over it. It looked like it had been decaying in water. He could feel the cold in his chest. He said it felt like he was drowning. That's terrifying. It just felt like he was being pulled underwater. And feel like he was being pulled underwater, like the roaring going on in his ears. He's like already kind of like feeling weird, and he hears this crazy, like, desperate screams in his ear. And oh my gosh, so basically when he was hearing that, he don't know what the is going on. He passed out. They woke him up, and he just felt like he had it was just like a cold sweat, and everybody's like, bro, you good? You good? He's like, nah. Like, he felt really fatigued. Like, it was pulling his soul. The Dementors confuse me. I'm like, how do you, if y'all know that the Dementors don't care about whether somebody is innocent or not, you guys should recognize that they will be attacking these students. Like, it's actually, it doesn't make sense that it will only attack Harry. Because when you think about it, when they explain this, I know it's later in the book, but they explain that the Dementors go after people who have trauma. Like, they suck that in. And they feed on your despair. So it's like, did we just not know about other attacks? Because are you saying nobody but Harry has had any type of trauma in their life? He's the only one. I don't believe that. It doesn't make sense. Is it just because it's like main character type thing? Because it wasn't even going after, I don't know. And it never went after Hagrid again, because it's like, we know he was in Azkaban, but it's like, it literally was only going after Harry. I don't understand. Basically, nobody notices that it was making that weird, like, sucking noise and that it was doing something to Harry before he passed out. Nobody was able to tell that happened. He was embarrassed because literally it was worse because it wasn't just Hermione and Ron in the room. Neville and Ginny were there, so he's like, none of y'all felt that? Nah, bro. So, we find out that Neville told everybody. How I would confront dude like, so I passed out and you just like, why did you do that? I want an actual answer. Why did you think that was information to be telling people? During the little feast or whatever, you know, when after at least when Dumbledore talks to all the kids like what they should and shouldn't be doing, don't go near the forest, don't do this, listen to Filch. And just know that the Dementors can see through invisibility cloaks. So you talking to us, huh? All right. McGonagall called Harry and Hermione to her office. She was very worried about Harry, and she spoke privately to Hermione. She wanted to speak to her about her schedule, and Hermione came out of the office beaming. She was smiling. So she won't tell us what happened, but okay, Hermione. Hagrid was very, very emotional. Once we got to learn about his new position, he was blushing, he was crying, you know, when they're like, you know, Hagrid is the new what is it, the care of magical creatures or something like that. So with Trelawney, yeah, I think when they got to her class, she predicted a lot of things about Neville, like breaking China and the club being attacked. And Hermione, when she was saying all this stuff about Harry, she's like, everybody knows about his huge crazy rival. Like, why are you talking like this is new information? Because it was worse, because I think it was always Lavender and that other girl. I think the girl that Harry, I think it was one of the twins that Harry took to the ball. Anyway, they're always like looking at her with so much admiration, and Hermione's like, we knew. Why are y'all acting like she's talking like a big game? We knew this. When she said it was a Grimm, Hermione was like, I don't agree with you. And that's when she told her she didn't have much aura. She didn't have the gift of sight. And other students started guessing what the shape was. And Harry was like, when all of you have finished deciding whether I'm going to die or not. And they was like, okay. He was shocked that he even said that. I would have been mad too. Like, y'all over here giggling, trying to decide what this is after she done talking about I'm gonna die. Like, stop. So they was staring at him all, like, every class. People was just staring at, like, they acting like if he made any sudden movements, he was just about to die in the classroom. Like, they was just staring at him so hard. Harry was stressed. So when they got to McGonagall's class, like I said, they're doing all that staring. She transforms into a cat, and she transforms back. She was like, you know what, not to like boost myself up or nothing, but I usually get more, you know, claps and applause for this type of thing. And Hermione was like, sorry, Miss McGonagall, but we just had a tough time. We just came from Trelawney's class. And Hermione was like, oh, which student is gonna die this year? So We basically learned that every year she says that somebody's gonna, like, since she started working here, she has told a student it's like a tradition where, oh, you gonna drop dead before the end of the year. Why would you? That's not a cute thing to be doing. Why are you doing that, ma'am? McGonagall actually made Harry feel a bit better about that whole situation. She's like, well, I'm gonna give you guys homework anyway. If you die, I assure you, you do not have to turn anything in. He's like, oh, you know what, McGonagall, you the one. So Hermione actually made her, because Hermione is so busy, so stressed, jumping from class to class. I don't even think it's stress yet. It's just she's forgetting that they don't know. She said that her arithmancy was more worthwhile than the divination class. And Ron is like, you haven't even had that class yet. How would you know? And so we move on to the parametrical creatures class with Hagrid, and there was actually more than just one hippogriff. It was several of different colors. They had bronze, like a pinkish color, a black one, a chestnut, and Draco and his crew were whispering in the back, already trying to figure out how they could mess up this class. Buckbeak was still chosen, and Harry actually volunteered. He was scared, of course, but he volunteered to, do the little bow and stuff for the hippogriff. And Draco went to Buckbeak on purpose, and I mean, he did the little thing. It bowed to him, but as he was petting it, he was insulting it. And he was saying, like, oh, if Harry could do it, I knew it would be easy. And he called it a great ugly brute. Okay. So this thing straight up attacked him. And I guess they didn't want to show any blood or anything. But when it scratched him, I think it did draw some blood. So it actually did scratch his arm. Like, it wasn't just his, I don't know if it was blood. So you know how in the movie it just like tore his clothes, but in the book it actually scratched him. I'm assuming it would be some blood though. I can't remember for sure, but his friends immediately screaming that he should be fired, he's incompetent. Other students are like, this is Draco, it's all his fault. He told us that they're prideful, and he went in its face and started insulting it. Bro, come on. Anything that happened after that, after Hagrid told you, is your fault. So they were, once they said that, then his little friends were like glaring and like kind of flexing, like as if they was gonna beat them up for talking back. They were upset, they can tell that even after the class that Slytherin was plotting at their little table and in the dining hall. They went to see Hagrid, and Hagrid thinks he's gonna be fired. He's thinking he's gonna be the quickest to get out of Hogwarts, and he's crying, he's drinking. I'm like, dang, Hagrid. But they're like, we've seen everything, like we could be your witnesses. He's crying even more, hugging them and stuff like that. They get to their potions class, and Draco is being very dramatic. Like, he can't do anything. He can't cut up. Like, they're making potions, and he can't cut up anything to do his ingredients. And he tells Snape about it, and they both like, oh, Ron and Harry, you guys cut up his ingredients for him. So annoying. So they did that whole thing, and then they ended up getting in trouble because I think was it Ron just chopped it any kind of way, and then he's like, they didn't do it right, and so he had to give his ingredients to Draco, and you fix the stuff that he messed up. It was a whole little thing. And later on, when they go to their Defense of Dark Arts class, Snape is being Snape, and he tries to embarrass Neville, like, oh, don't give him anything important, he'll just mess it up. And that's how Neville was the one who started the stuff off with the Bogarts, I think it's called. So Lupin basically stood up for him and was like, no, he's gonna be the first, like, he's gonna be the one to help me, I know he can do it. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. I'm like, Snape, get out of here, nobody asked for your opinion. And it was kind of crazy too, because during the class, when you know, in the movie, the thing came up to him and basically turned into one of the Dementors. That didn't happen in the book. As soon as it came to Harry, Lupin jumped in front of it, and then that's how, you know, we seen the moon and stuff. But we couldn't tell it was a moon. I think it was like, let me see. Oh, everybody thought it was like a crystal ball. They couldn't tell what it was. So it was just like, I guess it was just the moon. It wasn't like how they did it in the movie where they showed all the clouds and all that. They just seen some like round thing, and they were like, oh, he's scared of crystal balls. But Harry never saw what would pop up, basically. That whole thing with Hogsmeade, you know, Harry stays back and he's staying with Lupin, talking to Lupin, and Snape comes in and gives him a potion, which we assuming that that's what's keeping him under control from transforming. So Snape has been helping him, giving him potions, and I'm not sure if he necessarily wants to. I don't know if somehow Dumbledore convinced him to do this, because he's still got a stank attitude. But yeah, basically he's the one who's been giving this to him, and I guess it's kind of like a high level thing. So Snape is very talented at what he does. So later on, during, I think it was the Halloween festival, is when the portrait of the fat lady gets slashed, and I was like, oh, okay, because I'm trying to remember when that, like, something else happened, and then they were straight to all the kids were at the Gryffindor, what is it, their common room or whatever. So basically we find out that it was attacked by Sirius, and it was because she would not give him the password. She would not open up for him. And Hermione is like, this is weird, this is suspicious. There's no way for him to just appear inside the school. There's like wards and stuff around the school where people can't just pop up in here. Like, we have protection spells. I don't know how many times Hermione has told them this over it. Like, I'm in Goblet of Fire and she's still telling them this time. I'm like, how many times she gotta tell y'all people cannot just appear on Hogwarts grounds? When we're, okay, so I know the Quidditch game is coming up, but we find out that the reason that they're not fighting, playing Hufflepuff, is because Draco was still out here crying like, oh, my arm is hurt, like I'm on death's door. And so they basically excused them from playing, and they didn't want to play anyway because it was like storming, and they was like, we might, you know, we don't want to be in that weather, so we just gonna go with Draco's little thing because we won't have a seeker if Draco isn't playing. I don't like none of them. Oh my gosh, they so So Snape was actually worse when he took over the dark arts class. He took 10 points off for Harry being late. He took 5 points out for him just standing there and like not getting to his desk quick enough. And then he took 5 off for Hermione. And I think it was it when she was like annoying him and talking out of turn. The class was annoyed because he was insulting Lupin and saying all this crazy stuff, and Ron spoke up and said, like, why did you ask us for an answer if you didn't want one? Detention. Oh gosh. So we get to the Quidditch game, and there was what looked like 100 Dementors there. Lupin thinks that it was because they were hungry and hadn't had humans since they left the prison. Woo! Harry, it's interesting because this is why I said I think it's getting a lot darker, because Harry is hearing very specific things. In the movie is just some like a woman's voice screaming Harry, 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 and he's like, I think that's my mom. But no, he's hearing, not Harry, have mercy, kill me. And then he hears Tom giggling and cackling in the back. I'm like, trauma. Like, the Dementors, that's why they're going after trauma. Like, not only does he know, because I think it's one thing to know your parents, you know, had a horrible death, but to be able to hear their voices before it happens is crazy. Like, I don't know how Harry was still going about his day. Like, I see why they say people crack in Azkaban within a few days, because say your worst like experiences playing over and over, especially something like that, bro, over with. There's no way that you're like, your brain is done. So after the team and the crew left his bedside, he thought of the Grim, and maybe it was a death omen, because I mean, he got, when he was at the night bus, he got hit by the, well, I'm trying to think, was he hit by the night bus? No, I don't know. But so he's seen it with the night bus. I think he did. So he's seen it, and then he had that little thing with the night bus. Then he's seen it at the Quidditch game, and then the Dementors attacked him. So he's thinking like, I seen the Grim and then I almost died. I seen it again and almost died again. So he's like, maybe I really am seeing death omens. So Harry returns to classes, and Draco is he's healed. This man is how did he? And that's the thing. Okay, stop me right now, because correct me if I'm wrong. Harry lost the bones in his arm in the last book and grew them back overnight, because they nurse is something else. She can heal everything. So Harry grew back an arm, or grew his bones back in a day, or something close to that. Few days, something. And Draco's over here just close to death's door from a scratch from this hippogriff. It's not even poison, just a scratch. Make it, somebody make it make sense. Are we saying that he didn't go to see the nurse? Anyway, during that class, Draco was imitating a Dementor, and Snape, nothing. He doesn't care, right? When Ron does something back, he throws one of the ingredients at Draco. Instantly 50 points off for Gryffindor. So it's okay for Draco to bully somebody for the whole class, but if they say or do anything back, it's like, how has he not gotten in trouble for his blatant favoritism? Like, how has nobody said anything about him? Like, if it's Slytherin, it's okay, but every like, I'ma just take crazy amounts of points off from other groups. It doesn't. It's crazy. It's basically, especially if it has anything to do with Harry or any of his friends, it doesn't make no sense to me. So we move on to all the kids going to Hogsmeade, and Harry didn't actually try to sneak out. Fred and George saw him. They snuck him to the back, and they was like, you know what, we got this map. Boom, boom, bam. Of course, I don't know how to say it, but the map actually shows 7 passageways from Hogsmeade to Hogwarts, and it shows what everyone's doing every minute of the day. The map communicates how to get through passageways with speech bubbles and spells or codes. So when Harry goes to the little statue and tries to get through, he doesn't know how. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So the map has a little speech bubble of like the spell to get through. So that was tight. That was a good little addition. So when Harry gets through, he meets the crew in the little candy shop or whatever. They have a good time, and so they go to the pub. They sit together, and then they come across the professors, and they're all having a good little time. Fudge is there, Hagrid's there, and they're talking about the situation with Tom and the Potters, and that Dumbledore thought there was a traitor amongst them, and that he was the one who wanted to keep their secret. You know, basically, if the only way that Tom will get this information is if this person tells him. So, and that, okay, this makes it even more confusing, because I'm thinking, okay, that happened, and then the Potters passed. Hagrid's going over the fact that he couldn't believe that he tried to take Harry from him. Like, he just took out the Potters, and then he came to him like, oh, I'm his godfather, leave him with me. He's acting all frantic and stuff like that. And Hagrid's like, no, I have to follow orders. Dumbledore told me to take him over here, so I'm going this way. And then they found out that from like the Fudges talking about, there was people, witnesses, Muggle witnesses, talking about they were screaming in the streets, and Peter crying about Lily and James, and most likely what he was crying about was, you know, like how he was whimpering in the movie, you know, I cared about them, I loved them, da, 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 da. And Sirius wasn't about that and tried to attack him, and that's probably when he transformed. So everybody thought that he killed Peter, because nobody knew that they could transform. So I felt like, first of all, Dumbledore knew. He might have, so what the thing is, I was to say, he probably knew that Peter was the one with the secret, but that doesn't necessarily, just because they told him no doesn't mean they told him who actually had the secret. But so I guess they were all still assuming that Sirius had the secret, not Peter. They didn't know that he changed his mind. I was about to say, how did y'all not put two and two together? But still, I'm still adamant about the fact that Peter is scary. Why would he go over there? If this really happened, Peter wouldn't have went nowhere. He wouldn't have confronted Sirius. Yeah, that sucks. Like, I can't believe he trusted this dude. Like, if you change your mind, give it to Dumbledore. He's scared of Dumbledore. He's not going near that man. Peter, any of us could bully Peter. Oh, it makes my head hurt thinking about the fact that he gave Peter the secret. Fudge also talks about visiting Azkaban and Sirius wanting to see the article or see the newspaper, and this is the newspaper where Harry and them, not Harry, Ron and his family were in. So I'm thinking, like, I immediately was like, ooh, that's when he seen him. That's when he escaped, because he knew what Peter looked like. Holy crap! She was leaving all kind of clues for us. So Ron, I'm mixing up names. Harry was very sad after hearing about this stuff. You know, that he was his godfather, he betrayed them, yada yada. And so Ron and them is trying to cheer him up, and they're like, oh, how about we go to Hagrid's? He's like, yeah, let's go to Hagrid's so I can ask him some questions. So they go there, and Hagrid talks about his time at Azkaban, and it's very, very sad. I mean, he's talking about that he didn't want to wake up in the mornings. Like, that he was hearing stuff. Like, I think the main things that he was hearing was the stuff of the situation with him getting expelled from Hogwarts, his father passing, and the moment where he had to give away the dragon. I can't remember the dragon's name. Norbert, something. But basically, those were probably the biggest upsetting moments in his life, and they were getting played on repeat. And he made it 2 months though. That was pretty long to be getting tortured, basically. That's basically what they doing in this prison, is torturing people. We get to Christmas time. Harry gets the firebolt for Christmas. He's gassed. He's happy. But there's no card on it, so they don't know where it came from. He's like, I don't care. I don't care where it came from. And Hermione's like, this is suspicious. Like, you shouldn't use this, Harry. They're like, nah, I'm using it. Hermione, she snitches on them. She goes and tells McGonagall. I think Harry, what did it say? He only had it for a few hours. So basically, they think that Sirius put a jinx on it, and McGonagall's like, well, it is very suspicious that you got this, broom for Christmas with no letter or nothing. So we're gonna take it, do some little experiments, make sure it's no spells, jinxes, hexes, whatever this stuff is called, curses. We're gonna tear this thing apart. You'll get it back eventually. He's like, but I want to use it for the game. So they do the little inspection or whatever, and it's gonna take weeks. We get to Harry doing his little lessons with Lupin, and he's having these moments where he's like, I kind of want to hear my mom's voice again. I was talking about this being a little dark, but when I'm actually hearing it, and then now me voicing it, Like, this is so sad. Like, the stuff with Harry and the Dementors, the stuff with Hagrid and Azkaban, the stuff with Sirius. Like, this stuff is really sad. Like, I don't know, because think about that. Like, I know I'm gonna be hearing her dying words, but I want to just hear my mother's voice. That's so sad. That's so sad. Like, I'm getting emotional now. Like, think about that. Oh my gosh. So, Harry, I guess he didn't pick. I didn't write down what he thought about, but I think they said it in the movie. I don't know if it was the same memory, but first memory didn't work. Second try, he heard his dad. He heard his dad's voice, and I think he was yelling at Lily to escape with Harry. Like, get out of here, get out of here. I'ma hold him off. How old is Harry right now? Like 13? On his third try, he was able to get, the spell wasn't super strong, but he was able to get something out. And the memory he thought of was when he first realized that he was a wizard and he could get the fuck out of the Dursleys' house. He was so excited. Even though he had his, insecurities about not being as good as everybody else, that is still one of his fond memories, which I was like, oh, that's cute. So, Ron is starting to suspect Hermione, because he's constantly suspecting he's like, Hermione hasn't missed a class. How is that possible? These classes start at the same time, and yet she's been to both of them. All right. We're gonna leave it alone for now. It took a month for Harry to get even a slight fog with that spell to stop the Dementor. So he's making progress, but it's a slow progress. Harry thinks that Sirius deserves to get a Dementor's kiss, which that's the only time, basically they say this is the only time that anybody actually sees a Dementor's full face, is when they get the Dementor's kiss, which is death, basically. Harry got butterflies seeing Cho. So, that is the secret from Ravenclaw. He has a little crush. Harry, his first crush. So cute. She was chasing Harry during the game. Because he kept seeing it first, and he started messing with her. He's like, okay, you gonna keep following me? Oh, I think he actually got the broom back. Like, McGonagall got it back to him on time. So he has the firebolt, I think he has the firebolt. I might be. Anyway, he's realizing, yeah, I think he does. Because McGonagall, she's about the sports life. There's no way she's helping him out with that. So, he's like bobbing and weaving, he's diving so she can like chase after him and kind of like, I don't know if you want to say that he's trying to make her crash, but he's trying to mess her up, So while they're doing that, she points to the ground like, Harry, look down. And there's some Dementors down there. There's like 3 Dementors. And Harry immediately uses the spell. He didn't even get scared. When Harry is on his broom, I feel like he gets a little braver. Like he's about that life. I don't know. It's the fact that off top, as soon as he seen him, he was like, bop! Hit him with that spell. And he immediately caught the snitch. So game over. Come to find out, the reason that he was able to stop the Dementors so quickly is because it wasn't the Dementors. It was Draco. I think the Slytherin captain for the Quidditch captain. And was it one of his little friends? Let me see. Yeah, his friends and the captain. So McGonagall is chewing them out. Chewing them out. Like, how dare you do this? You are all getting detention. We're taking this to Dumbledore. What were you thinking? I'm trying to figure out what they were thinking. Like, okay, we're going to scare Harry. And the thing is, I think they don't believe that Harry is getting attacked by the Dementors. They think he's scared and that he's just like having a fainting spell. So they thought if he saw them, he would just like faint and fall off his broom. That's not okay. That might have happened last time, but it was because it was real Dementors and they actually attacked me. You just sitting down there with a cloak over your head, I'm gonna hit you with this spell. I think that's what it was. Cause I'm like, what were you thinking? And then they didn't care about the consequences. They're so used to getting off with Draco sucking up to the professors and his dad name. Like, sir, that's not going on. That's not going down today. So Harry actually had a weird dream the following night, and it was so confusing. I kind of wish I should have went back and listened to it again, because it was like it was a fog and Harry was just, I don't know, it was really weird. I don't know what was going on, but Ron screams and wakes up Harry. Harry's like, what happened? So basically Ron says that Sirius was over his bed with a knife. Like, he tried to kill him, basically. So once Ron woke up, Sirius bolted. He dashed out of there. So they're like, oh, he probably left because he didn't want to get caught or whatever. McGonagall was like, you sure you wasn't dreaming? I don't believe that happened. And he's like, no, I'm telling you. So they go talk to the girl in the portrait. I'm not the girl, because I think they swapped him out. I mean, they swapped her out. So it was the dude in the armor. So basically this dude let him in. What kind of, I know nobody else wanted the job, but like, come on now. He told them that Sirius had a list of passwords and he was just reading them off, and once he got to the right one, he let him in. Okay, the fact that he's reading them off this list means that he shouldn't be in here, because he doesn't know what the actual password is. Why would you let him in? Whatever. McGonagall is pissed off, like, how did he get a list of the passwords? Bro, remember when Neville talked about losing his list of passwords? Sirius scooped it up. So, yeah, Neville, not a good look for you, big dog. Hagrid told Harry and Ron he thought they cared more about it was more like he said he thought that they would care more about a friend than a broom and a rat. Because Ron has still been mad because of the cat, and then they stopped talking to her because of the whole thing with her telling McGonagall. So he's like, he's trying to let them make their own decisions, but he's like, I thought you guys were mature enough and had a better connection than to just dump your friend because you can't keep this broomstick. It was something to think about. I think Harry felt a little guilty. Hermione was scared for Harry and said she would tell if he left for Hogsmeade. So she still knew they was up to stuff and that he was still trying to sneak out. And the fact that Sirius has come into the school, she's very scared. She doesn't care that he's mad at this point. She's like, you need to protect yourself. So he was caught by Snape when he was in front of the statue, and then Snape was like, what are you doing over here? Whole little thing, but you know, he had no proof of him doing anything. So Harry snuck off anyway, and that whole thing when he was teasing Draco and his little friends in the snow, messing with them, you know, he actually drops somehow the cloak showed a part of his head. Draco ran off running, screaming. So now they're like, oh hell. They run back and Harry's trying to like hide. I think what he did was Snape found out because Draco ran and told Snape, and Harry denied it, and he said that Draco needs to go to the hospital because he's having hallucinations. Like, that's not normal. We should get him checked out. And they went back and forth. Harry said, you wouldn't be here if my dad didn't save you. And Snape was like, I don't know what you heard. Like, I don't know what you think happened, but he's the reason that I almost died. So basically, yeah, we find out that whatever happened, it was his dad's fault. This is when he sees the map as well, and it insulted him a lot more than it did in the movie. See, when I was kind of confused with that scene, because I was like, is Harry just saying this stuff, or does the map actually say it? For a minute I was like, I thought Harry was insulting him and it didn't actually say that, and that Lupin was just going along with it. But no, it actually said it. It was talking about his greasy hair and all kind of stuff. And Lupin came in, he saved him, you know, he's trying to advocate for him. Ron busted in. So basically he got off, and Lupin told him that he was risking his life. He's not wrong. Like, he's like, you're risking your life for minor things. Like, your parents died, and you know, the fact that you're hearing them dying, you know, you're having this stuff going on with, you know, hearing them passing their last words, and you're still taking it lightly by going out to Hogsmeade. Like, you don't need to be there. Harry feels very guilty at this point. It's hitting home now. It's finally hitting home. So they forgave Hermione. because now they realize that Buckbeak is in trouble. Like, they have to save Buckbeak, so we might as well squash the beef, right? Draco called Hagrid pathetic, and that's when, boop, that Hermione slapped. She slapped him across his face. Slytherin, that Quidditch game, I don't even, they had so many fouls. They was doing all kind of shady stuff. And of course it was probably because Harry had the little firebolt. So they were just acting a fool. Like, they was hitting everybody. They was doing all kind of shady stuff. And I can't remember what the rev's name, what the the professor's name is. But she's like, this is like ridiculous. I've never had to deal with this amount of like foolery ever. So they were trying to stop Gryffindor, so they fouling. Harry dived and threw himself off his broom to get past Malfoy. So he got that snitch, we still in here. Lost again. What? Draco. You see who that man is, right? You see who it is, right? So, Oliver and McGonagall are boo-hoo crying. They are boo-hoo crying. We got that win. And Oliver, I think because he's graduating this year, he is very emotional. McGonagall is emotional. This is her game. And Gryffindor won. Trelawney, Miss Trelawney out here. She spoke of the servant breaking free and the Dark Lord being stronger than ever once reunited. So it was the same little what was, I'm trying to think, in the movie, I think she did pretty much say the same thing when she had that little moment. They actually, we get to Hagrid's and he's still emotional, and they found Scabbers in the milk jug in Hagrid's house. Scabbers is looking not good. He's not good. He is a lot skinnier. He's missing huge chunks of his fur or hair, whatever, off his body. He is trying to get away, and he's biting Ron. He's trying to get away from Crookshanks. I finally put his name somewhere. Or is it a boy or girl? I don't know what the cat is. But Crookshanks, when they get to the tree, Crookshanks, I was very suspicious of Crookshanks. I'm like, is this what is this cat? Is this a magic cat? Because it jumps on one of the tree trunks, and that's how the Weeping Willow's branches stopped swinging on them. Is because Crookshanks jumped on one of the trunks and it just stopped moving. I'm like, first of all, how did you even know that? Ron is the one who said he'd have to kill all of them. Harry wanted to kill Sirius but couldn't get himself to do it. Tried but could not. Which is, I mean, I can understand that. You've heard that this man was trusted by your parents and he betrayed them, and he's the reason why you don't have a family. So I could sympathize with that, but at the end of the day, he couldn't get himself to take someone's life. So I'm like, yeah, I could. You don't need to, Harry. You don't do that. Lupin pops up because he had the map. Remember, he took it from Harry. He's the one who's seen Peter. on the map. So he ran over here, whatnot, and we hear all this backstory because they're not trusting Sirius, and Lupin's like, let me explain. Let me tell you why we believe this is Scabbers, or why we know this is Scabbers, and we know he is the one who is the traitor and Sirius is innocent. So he goes into the spill. Sirius is like, hurry up so I could kill this dude. But Lupin tells us that the Weeping Willow was planted at Hogwarts for him. We learned that Dumbledore knew about him being a werewolf since he started at Hogwarts. This was basically planted so it could protect him. You know, this tree leads to that shack, right? So basically it's to stop students from going near it. Anybody from going near it. And so during full moons, Lupin will be locked in here by himself. And all those rumors that Hermione was talking about in the movie and everything else about, you know, people hearing crying and screaming and just screams randomly from this house, it was Lupin when he was transformed trying to get out of there. So this is when they tell us that James, Sirius, and Peter were animagus, and they made that choice because they wanted to stay with Lupin. I'm like, what love and friendship. So basically, they were like, well, how can we, you know, be around you and not get attacked? So they were like, let's transform ourselves. And boom, they would transform themselves when he would transform on the full moon, and they would run around, hang with each other. They were supposed to stay in the freaking house like Dumbledore told them to, but teenagers being teenagers, running around Hogsmeade having a good time. So and it's crazy that these young teenagers taught themselves to do that. That's another hint that these kids were not average, because they make it seem like becoming an animagus, or however you say it, is not an easy feat. Like, you have to have some talent and dedication to do that. And I think they also mentioned that they had to really help Peter learn to do this. Like, they spent some extra time to help this boy. But they said they played a prank on Snape because he didn't like them, and he was suspicious of them. The fact, most likely because they were sneaking out of the school, and he realized they were sneaking out of the school. So he followed them, and they played a prank on him. I think it was, they were at the house or in the shack or whatever, and basically it was all Snape's own fault. You almost died because he was being nosy. So literally what happened, what I'm gathering what happened, is that neither story was actually correct, because they made it seem like James was this huge savior. Technically he did, but it wasn't just like I went out of my way type thing. Snape made it seem like he was the whole cause of my life being in danger. Not true. You put your own life in danger. So what really happened is that they realized he was following them. They played a prank, and it got serious. And basically he was like, oh wait, we can't actually like kill him, so he saved his life. So it was everybody's fault. Everybody was doing something they shouldn't have been doing, but still he saved his life. So Snape playing the victim, stop it. But this is when he pops out. He was in the cloak because I think Harry had left it somewhere. And he's like, oh, I knew you guys were here because I was taking the potion to you or whatever, and I found the map on your desk. So wait, this is why Lupin transformed, because he didn't have his potion, and then you left this open for anybody to see. So Snape is being irrational. They tried to reason with him. Of course, this man never like, once he gets something in his head, it doesn't matter if you're making logical sense. Because he doesn't like you, he's not gonna listen to whatever you have to say. You have to be either like someone in higher power than him, or him to actually like you for him to ever listen to anybody. Those are the only way that he's gonna listen to anybody. We find out Peter is the one who screamed his innocence, blew the street up. Crookshanks knew about Peter and Sirius not being normal, but he ended up helping Sirius. I think because, I guess I never wrote it down, but I think that one night Harry saw Crookshanks and Sirius walking across the line. Of course Sirius was transformed, but he saw them walking like on the edge of the forest together. So Crookshanks knew who was really who, like, you know. Yeah, he also explains that he convinced the Potters to make Peter their secret keeper, and said that Peter was hiding from Tom's followers, and that he sided with Tom because he liked powerful friends that could protect him. He knew about that, like, or at least he figured it out at some point. Like, he only was around us because he wanted people to protect him. So Harry is filled with hope at this point. Like, okay, we got everything done. We believe everything he's saying, and you know, maybe I can stay with him, you know. It sucks for real. I mean, okay, we got Snape knocked out. We already, you know, we tried to reason with him. We've got Peter under lock. We're going to, you know, Harry makes a decision. We're not gonna take him out. We're gonna take him to Dumbledore and the Ministry because we want to clear your name. And boom. So Harry's like, oh, you actually want me to stay with you? That sounds, I don't have to be with the Dursleys? That sounds amazing. Lupin transforms. He doesn't have his potion. To me, okay, even if, like, it makes sense. It makes sense, though. I was going to say, how could you ever forget about transforming? But to figure out that someone you thought has been dead for almost 15 years is not dead, and the person that you thought killed him and your other friends was betrayed, your mind is too full of drama to think about, oh yeah, it's a full moon tonight. Transforms, Peter gets away, whole little deal, we're fighting. It sucks. we're going through it right now, and this is all because of Lupin transform. I'm not gonna blame everything on Lupin. This is all Peter's fault, but it sucks that he forgot to take his potion. So skip to them at the lake, passed out. I mean, Hermione was there as well, I think. So she couldn't do anything. Harry's like, oh shoot, this ain't working. There's too many of them. The Dementors try to give, I think they try to give him the Dementor's kiss. What did I put? Yeah, they tried to give Harry the kiss, and the kiss. That sounds so weird. They have scabs where their eyes should be. That, I feel like, not even thinking about them trying to suck your soul out of your body, but like just the sight of them. Like, they're these huge creatures that look like dead bodies with scabs all over them. Their eyes are scabbed over. Like, whose idea was it to let y'all here? Like, I know Sirius, like, y'all thought it was this huge criminal, but like, y'all know that they don't care about who's actually innocent or not. So y'all just letting them roam the school grounds. As long, I'm just happy knowing that it wasn't Dumbledore's idea. He hates the fact that they're here. Everybody's passed out. You know, the whole thing happened with the stag spell thing that was popped up, yada yada. Snape wakes up, takes everybody back to the school to get treatment, to get better. Basically, Snape is telling, I think it was Dumbledore and Fudge, he's telling them that he thinks that these kids are so full of themselves. They think that they can take on, because they've dealt with Tom a couple times, that they can just go after any criminal and get the credit for it. So they basically went to look for this dude, snuck out of school once again, and was bewitched by Sirius. So anything that they say is not true. They were bewitched. So Fudge says, they're probably confused, and you know, this stuff about Peter can't be possible. He's not alive. Impossible. Dumbledore made everybody leave the room. Everybody get out. Get out. So he talks to the kids and he believes them. That's the one thing I love about Dumbledore, is that he's reasonable. He's not one of those. I think a lot of adults forget that two things can be possible at the same time. Yes, they're kids and they do bad things. They break the rules. They sneak out. But that doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about. Like, okay, are you saying it's impossible that somebody can be an animagus and not report it to the ministry? Are you saying it's not possible for somebody to betray their friends? It's like, how many times do they have to go through them not believing them? Because it's like every time they try to tell them about something, nobody believes them until it's something like, oh, Tom did this, oh, Tom appeared, this person is that. And they're like, oh yeah, you guys are right the whole time. And then we go through it all over again. Bruh, how many times do I have to do something myself because you won't listen to me? Like, it's kind of annoying at this point. They fought Tom, but then they're lying about this. They can't handle themselves. They're bewitched. It's possible that could have happened, but don't you guys have some kind of spells to tell somebody's? I mean, unless they're saying that he used like one of those unforgivable curses on them. Is that what they're saying? I don't know, because they make it seem like it's impossible to know whether that curse has been used on somebody or not. So you know, this is when we learn more about Hermione and her little deal with McGonagall, and the fact that Dumbledore knew about it. She has the time turner. That's how she's been getting from class to class. Harry doesn't know what the is going on. She's trying to explain to him as they're doing their little shenanigans. We cannot be seen. We cannot go near ourselves, especially. The biggest drawback, because it doesn't seem like there's any other like big consequences, but well, this is a big consequence, but I mean stuff with time at least, is that a lot of wizards and witches have died because they see themselves and think that some fishy's going on. And she asked him that, like, if you seen yourself, what would you do? You would think this is some dark magic going on and try to fight yourself. A lot of people have died because they killed themselves. Like, they fight themselves and then take the other one out and then poof. I'm like, that's reasonable. I feel like most people would be like, nah, ain't no way. So they end up either taking out most likely they take out their future selves. But after they save, what's his name, Buckbeak, they're like, we need to dip. This is the moment when Lupin transforms. We need to get out of here. So they run back to Hagrid's spot, and Harry is going through it. He's like, I need to see who that was at the lake. I'm gonna just peek and see. So he went to peek, and that's when he realized, he's like, nah, nobody's coming. It wasn't my dad. I knew it wasn't, but I had that hope that it was. So he does the spell because he knew he could do the spell, right? And it was a stag that appeared. Stag. So yeah, because basically, okay, his dad, I'm gonna think, yeah, his dad was a freaking stag when he transformed. So it was like, because this was a guardian spell, like a protection spell, he he basically was protected by his dad. That is so cute. Why didn't they put that in the movie? Like, that moment could have been so much bigger. Like, yes, it's amazing. Harry did some crazy, like, advanced level spell because he was going through it emotionally, and he knew he could do it because he saw himself do it. You know. But in the movie, they don't freaking explain, like, this was a guardian spell, and what appeared was, because I don't think they ever mentioned what his dad transformed into. He made his dad appear, kinda. It was his dad. His dad protected him. Oh my gosh! Stop it! What is this? Author is getting to be stopped. They saved Sirius. They had a quicker goodbye. Like, Sirius was trying to make sure everybody was okay. Ron is okay. You know, he was going through it. He was about to pass out in there. Like, I forgot to write. I didn't really write about that part because it was still kind of like, both of them trying to protect each other. And I think Ron is the one who said something like, you know, you gonna have to take us. I think it was Ron. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ron was the one who was like, you gonna have to take all of us out. And he was going through it. He was turning like pale. His leg is like tore up. Poor Ron. And then Peter was like, oh, making it worse. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, their goodbye was a lot quicker. They told him to leave quickly because he was, he was asking about around, like I said, and he was trying to figure out like, how can I thank y'all for saving my life, like, and they're like, bro, just get out of here. And he's like, Harry, you're your father's son. Stop. Oh my gosh. Zoom, he's gone on Buckbeak. So they didn't get to have a whole little chat, which is reasonable. You've escaped. They know you've escaped. Get out of here. It's just, dang, Ron went through it. Now I'm like, how did I not put that in there? Ron went through it. Like, he found out that his family pet was actually this psycho who killed his best friend's parents. I mean, he basically did. Like, yo. And his leg was fucked up. Oh my gosh. And he had to basically, oh my gosh. Ron, I'm sorry, I forgot to put that in there. You went through it, my boy. They was dashing back, trying to get back to the hospital wing. They almost ran into Peeves. Oh, you know how bad that would have turned out? Peeves would have everybody in the castle would have known. Oh shoot. They got past him though, and they got back just in time. It was literally like a minute left or something crazy like that. Less than a minute. They got back in the room, jumped in bed. Snape busted in like, what did y'all do? I know y'all did something. He's blaming everything on Harry. And everybody's like, the door was locked. Even the nurse is like, what the are you talking about? I've been in the office. The door has been locked. What? Are you okay? I'm loving this, by the way, because Snape is freaking out. He's right, but even Fudge is like, because he was supposed to get some like Merlin's something award, like some kind of special award, and now they're retracting all of that because Sirius is gone, and this dude is flipping out. He's like, Snape, are you okay? He's telling him he's talking nonsense. Dumbledore is calm as ever. Like, there's no way these kids did, like, I don't know what's going on. And he has this little twinkle in his eye because he know exactly. I'm the one who told him. Freaking Dumbledore. Fudge says he can't believe what the Dementors did to such an innocent boy. Are you shocked y'all knew how they were? Why did y'all let them into this school? Man, if his parents were alive, they would have been calling up. Like, and that's another thing. Like, if it was any other student, the parents would have been flipping out because they have. I'm sorry, Harry. Listen. If Dumbledore was the only one like screaming at these people, like, these Dementors are attacking my students, of course the parents probably wouldn't have been able to do much because all they have to say is like, we're trying to catch this, mass murderer, and we're trying to do our jobs. But still, he only had Dumbledore and McGonagall really advocating for him. Fudge is talking about they may have to put dragons at the entrance. This man is joking. He has to be joking. But Dumbledore is rolling with it like, oh, I think Hagrid would love that. Yeah, I'm sure he would. So later on, Hagrid tells the crew that Lupin is dipping. He has quit. He's gone. Snape was upset about losing his Merlin award and told everybody about Lupin. So that's why this situation was going on. That Lupin had to leave. He didn't like Lupin anyway. He didn't want him there anyway. So he went and snitched, told everybody that Lupin was a werewolf, and that, basically Dumbledore hired this dude to be around y'all kids. Of course, all kind of people was upset about this. unfortunate. Lupin basically, okay, this is where we learn that uh his dad could transform into a stag. Lupin tells Harry about that. And I'm pretty sure that was an emotional moment for Harry. Lupin is out of there though, which sucks. He was a great teacher. He protected, like I said, he was protective of Neville and everybody else. He was protective of Harry, teaching Harry all this advanced magic to protect himself. All the students loved him. They actually stood up to Snape for a little bit, to protect his name. But later on, when Harry's talking to Dumbledore, he tells him that him and Peter have a deep connection. He saved your life, and that will, magic is, not cut and dry. He saved you, and now you guys are connected. Dumbledore, is telling him, the dead is never, they don't leave us. They show themselves when needed, and that's why his spell produced a stag. He also did it says that he also did the stag at the Quidditch match. I forgot about that. So he was able to produce that spell more than once. So that's why Draco and them were terrified and shaking in their boots on the field still, because that huge spell basically came at them. He basically told them, like, you found your father inside yourself. Like, this book is so emotional, bro. Like, what? So all the Defense of Dark Arts students were so upset that Lupin quit. They didn't care. They knew he was they found out he was a werewolf. They still like, bro, who cares about that? He was teaching us all kind of good stuff. Harry basically said that the 30 minutes when he thought he would live with Sirius was amazing. Some of the best 30 minutes of his life. He said the next best thing would have been to get his dad back. So here we go with the emotions once again. Basically, he's like, hearing that Sirius wanted to take me in was so big for me. Even though he's not my father, his connection to our family and the fact that, he tried his all to protect us. It was just he trusted the wrong person, and the only thing that would have been better is to have his actual dad back. Ooh, Harry hitting us with the feels. So of course they won for the third year in a row the what's the cup called? The little award that the house Gryffindor gets at the end of the year. Hermione talks about giving the time turner back, and she's dropped Muggle studies in the divination class. So yeah, basically she gives that back to the ministry, like, you know what, too much for me. And now that's when I was like, hey, why would we care about anything bad going on if we got this time turner? We could just go back. But Hermione basically was like, this was only supposed to be for me to get from class to class. That was too stressful anyway. I was going through it. I had too much work. I couldn't even sleep because, even with her having a time turner, she still had to find time to study, do her homework, do all this. Like, nah, she was just like, I'ma just give it up. And it's too much temptation as well. Like, still, even though, like, if they found out that she did that, she would have been in so much trouble. She was only approved to use this for her schoolwork. She was not supposed to go save Sirius, this person who is wanted. No way. So Ron tells Harry that he wants him to stay over for the holidays, and bro, come over for the Quidditch Cup. Like, the World Cup is about to come up. We have to go. Harry's like, bet. You know, in comes this tiny owl through the train window, and it's I wish I could see. Why didn't they give Ron the? Did he have the owl in the fourth movie? No, huh? Cause little owl comes through, and it's so proud of itself for even delivering this stuff. We get a letter, and in the letter he talks about, I'm the one who Sirius says that I'm the one who gave you the quick ball. I'm giving you some money and approval so that next year you can go to Hogsmeade, because technically I am your guardian, right? I'm just on the run, but still, hey, guardian. So Harry's very happy about that. The owl is for Ron. It's like, oh, tell Ron, like, this is for him. Keep the owl. And Crookshanks is like, because Ron is he's like, bro, I'm not trusting no animals around me. I mean, I know Crookshanks is cool. So, Crookshanks, you're a good judge of character because you knew about Scabbers. You knew that Sirius was cool. Check this out. We good? We okay. This is my new owl. Bet. Harry basically gets to the Dursleys, right? Harry? Why do they always in the books where Harry is doing some crazy, like, he tells the Dursleys that like, they don't need to worry about him because his guardian got him now. I don't know if you know, but the dude that y'all seen on the news, that's my godfather. That's me. But don't worry about me no more. That's mine. They are like, what? And that's basically where it ends. Harry is always trying to scare these people to death, and it works like every time until they figure something out. But yeah, we figure out that Harry, he's gonna be using that for a while. He's gonna be using that. But yeah, oh my gosh, this was a very, very enjoyable book. I would like to know what you guys liked about this one. Tell me, because I know a few people have said that this was their favorite. I think the next couple books, some people were saying this was their favorite. Goblet of Fire was their favorite, Order of the Phoenix. Is that what it's called? Tell me what you liked about this book, though. I think it's just all the emotions going on in this book. I feel like I wrote it down, it hit me, but like as I talked about it with you guys, I'm like, holy crap, this was depressing. Like, serious whole deal. Like, okay, I feel like he might have at least gotten out of some situations if he was able to even communicate. He was so distraught about trusting the wrong person that he couldn't even speak up for himself. I mean, the part I've gotten to in the Goblet of Fire, it doesn't seem like they would have listened anyway, but I'm like, at least he would have had some chance where somebody would have believed him and known to look for Peter, you know? And we learned the whole thing about Hagrid and his horrible time at Azkaban. That was very horrible. The whole thing about Harry hearing his parents, horrible. Because in the movie, it doesn't hit you as hard because you just hear like Harry, like you just hear like it's still sad, but hearing their actual conversation leading up to them passing, it's crazy. And then the moment where he says like, I kind of do want to hear her voice again though. That is horrible. Like he's thinking this is the only way I could hear her voice, is hearing her last moments. That's horrible. Oh my gosh. But we had the cute little moment where we find out that, you know, his dad turned into a stag, and that is what appeared to protect him. He still has a connection. He's still protecting him. She did a really good job with this book. I feel like I would choose this over the movie. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly, but this got more emotional, definitely. Just knowing all the details. They didn't hold, of course, they're not holding anything back. I love this a lot more. It sucks about Lupin and Sirius basically leaving Harry at the same time. It's like they would have been family to him. I mean, I know that Sirius is still part of his life, because I have got to the next book, and they don't even show that really in Goblet of Fire. We'll talk about that later, but it's like y'all didn't even show how much he was still in Harry's life. Even he was talking to him a lot more than that one moment in the fire. Like, but I mean, physically there with him, you know, teaching him things, talking about keeping his parents' memory alive, talking about all the moments that they probably spent with his parents. They could have been doing that. He could have been with Sirius. And even if Lupin could have been at the school helping him, like he could have been teaching him how to protect himself. The stuff with the Goblet of Fire, maybe that wouldn't have like happened, or at least he would have been helping Harry more if he was there. Like, it just sucks that the two people who could have been like family were taken away from him within, I mean, with Lupin within a year, Sirius within like a couple hours gone. But I really enjoyed the interactions with, I mean, just showing Hermione and Ron and their dedication and their loyalty to Harry. The whole scene with them in the shack with Sirius and them basically like, you're gonna have to take us out to get to Harry. Still, I can't remember which one said you're gonna have to take us out to get to him. I feel like it was Ron, but I'm not 100%. Let me know. But like, can you imagine saying something like that in your 11, I mean not 11, but probably what are they, like 12 or 13? Can you imagine having to go through that and then being like, bro, you're gonna have to take my life to get to him? That's crazy. And even it's like they forgot about all the drama with the broomstick and with, you know, of course we don't care about Scabbers no more, but it's like at the end of the day we're still down for each other. And Hermione, she she knew that they probably would be mad at her when she told on them about the broomstick. And she was just like, yo, hey, if you're alive, I don't care if you're mad at me. So yeah, her and Ron were down for each other. Like, Ron injured, going through your broken leg, and he's still like, I'm about to fight these grown men. Yo, they're good friends. So yeah, this was fun. Let's talk about it in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one.